The Kenyan aviation sector continues to face with business challenges amid the impact of the coronavirus pandemic. Despite resuming international flight operations, the country's airline is projecting about $400 million losses in revenue by the end of the year. Experts say government support is needed to save the industry. Let's have more details of that in this report.
As the first Kenya Airways flight from Kigali began its descent into Nairobi after almost 4 months following the outbreak of COVID-19, it was half full. The impact COVID-19's had on the airline became more apparent as it taxied to the apron. Dozens of KQ planes remained grounded. For many of the passengers, they were just glad to be home.
This is awesome. This is awesome. We've been waiting for this.
The captain of the flight, however, was more reflective.
Hopefully, we'll increase our frequency depending on the passenger numbers that come on board.
Like all airlines globally, Kenya Airways has been pushed to the brink by the pandemic. Before COVID-19, the airline was flying to 55 destinations globally, carrying 4 million passengers annually. Since resuming international flights, it's now flying to only 30 destinations.
There has been an extremely suppressed demand going forward. If you look at what we have deployed for our frequency and our destination, it is not 50% of what we were flying before.
The current demand is attributed to passengers who were stranded when countries closed their airspace. Largely dependent on holidaymakers and business travelers who've been forced to stay home because of the pandemic, the airline is now scrambling to remain in the skies.
We cannot keep an airline at 100% when the demand is only 50%. And that is why we need to restructure the airline. So restructure just, the assets, restructure the operations itself, how we operate. And then, of course, unfortunately, even for employees. And like you said, it's a very painful thing to do.
The airline projects losses of up to $400 million by the end of 2020. Experts say government support is essential for survival.
We need governments to underwrite loans and to offer state support and to guarantee loans as well and to reduce taxes. Those are the big things. And most governments in Africa are just not doing it. And the bottom line here is that over $30 billion was promised by governments in Africa to support the airline industry. And only $311 million of that amount has been paid out.
Kenya Airways is in the process of being nationalized, and when the turbulence in the industry finally settles, the airline will be hoping this greeting
"Welcome on board Kenya Airways"
will continue to welcome passengers on board their planes for years to come.